May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne, Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up tone. Like straight out the sand lot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that calm and steady grind. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Smell good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flipped my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do it? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball cat, no lit word. Routine like clockwork, my wrist word.
I flourish the cook, got no roof on it. I'm taunting, I'm all in the moment. Everything lit, I don't miss. Till someone get John on the line, say the invoice is coming. I'm thumbing through stacks of that cold ball. They egging me on, so I'm going off. I got them mad, I show off. They treating my life like it's no law. I never a flexible mind means. I spit the cream on my tribe, don't I? Don't bro me, don't know me, you not regime. To the one with the condom, my eye is on it. Yeah. I see you move through the base, they precaution, they snaking, they seeing me. Money tree, wake up the royalties. I got a queen, yeah, she go with me. She making me feel like I'm royalty. It's probably cause we royalty. I just got fresh with the golden piece, shrug, show the emoji, okay. You know it's me, diamond soul, dancing, singing like Jodeci. 10 out of 10 every time till they notice me. What you thought I was supposed to be. Ain't nobody close to me. Granted my hits touch the billboards, and they printing my face on the billboard. They envy my drip, I'm enlightened. You should let go of that hate, but you feel more. I make them rage every time they get flame when they hear what I say, coming straight from the source, yeah. I come a long way from the coast by the shore. My boy, I'm enjoying this time. Young kids coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to spit the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flip my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flip my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do? I can't do. Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball, can't.
And now, your host, Sir Hale Speaks. What's going on, everybody? What's good? Can you guys hear me? All right, good. What's up, everybody? How you guys feel?
What's going on, brother?
Everything's everything, God. Everything's everything.
Good stuff, big brother. Good stuff. That's what's up. All right, guys. Well, listen, how's your week been? I salute to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. If my microphone sounds a bit different, it's because my microphone has been acting broken, dusty, and so I've been having some technical difficulties. But we're going to get through this. We're going to be good. Guys, if you want, let's jump right into our stuff today. Today, the reason we're doing this conversation is because I think we talk about relationships, but it is important that we talk about the dynamics of communication and really address some of the common issues that I see so often play out in relationships. So women don't listen, men don't want to talk. We got some things to react to, and we're gonna get into the meat of the conversation. So I got this clip from somebody that we all have seen and heard. Let's take a look at this, and I want to react to a piece of what he says.
Of the men that are married in this room, I don't care how much you tell me she is your best friend, I bet you don't tell her everything. Don't you look at me funny, I dare you. I bet you don't tell her everything. You know you don't tell her everything because you know what will happen if you do. If you told her everything, you know what, women, if you knew what we were thinking when you lay up in the middle of the night, say, what you thinking about? In the book, I tell you why we say nothing. Come on, guys. You got to come out the closet tonight because I'm coming for you tonight. I'm coming for you tonight. I'm coming for you tonight. We say nothing because you couldn't handle it. And maybe you could. You don't know for sure. And maybe when we tried you, you didn't know it was a test. And you could flunk our test and never know it was a test.
And that is what we want to respond to. So we talk about being open and being honest with the women that we love. But when it comes to real successful relationships and marriage, can and should a man be completely open and honest to the woman he loves? That's the first question. Let's start with Men of Prestige. We'll work our way around.
All right. First of all, shout out to the brothers on the panel. Shout out to the chat, and shout out to Sir Hale. I don't believe in that. I've never believed in just outrightly telling everything in the name of honesty. And I think when I say I don't believe in that, I think context matters, right? I've been married for 15 years. I do believe that I tell, right? I live an open life with my wife, right? But context matters, right? If I take that idea that I should just tell everything and I turn that to some kind of literal stuff, and I want to say everything, I need to tell you exactly how I feel right now. That kind of discounts the need for social skills. That discounts the need for emotional intelligence, right? That discounts the need to understand the soil the ground that you're trying to sow this different types of seeds, right? That also discounts the fact that maybe you don't even know what you're saying yet. Maybe you don't even know, you don't have a full picture of what's going on yet. Even you as a man, right? So it depends on what we mean by be fully honest. Like, I think there's fully honest and I think there's fully honest. And I think there are two different things, and I know they sound alike the way I just said it, but I think it depends, right? I believe in selective honesty. I believe in engaging your power as a man. I believe in understanding, in listening more than you talk. If you're doing a lot of talking and you call it, I just want to be honest, you're going to find yourself in the mud every single time. And yes, you could be a good guy too.
Oh, me? Oh, dog. My bad. What's up, everybody? Shout out to y'all. Happy Sunday. Y'all made it. Y'all at another one. Super Sundays in the building. To answer the question, no. No. And I'll tell y'all why. Y'all want to know why? Everybody want to beat around the bush. Because your woman will look at you a different way. That's just the facts. A woman gotta have a certain vision. She has to have a certain impression of her man in her mind. And if you as a man go to your woman with every little thing, she gonna start looking at you a different way. Them's the facts. Plain and simple. Right? And I'm not saying it's not a time you shouldn't be vulnerable with your girl or hug up on your woman. But if you do that every time something pops into your head that you unsure of, that you don't have all the facts on, something that you don't know how to move on at this time, she gonna look at you a certain way. And we all know if a woman lose respect for you, it's over.
It's a wrap.
OVA, it's over. So no, you should not tell your woman every single thing. No. That's all I got.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Bless you, man.
Well, the thing was that she needed. Nah, yeah, I'm gonna tell her everything she needs to know, not everything she wants to know. So there's some things that she just never gonna know. I mean, lady I'm dealing with now, she still want to know about who's that girl that I'm sleeping with on the campus back in '94. Still ain't told her. I'm not gonna tell her. You just never gonna know this because it's not for you to know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I was ashamed. I mean, this girl was ugly as hell, but during the drought season, you do what you do. But I'll never tell her. I'm not gonna let a judge be on the bad decision I made by being with that girl. But no, and on a more serious note, no, because they not, like Ricky said, they're not ready for that, man. Some things you're just not ready for, and some things men usually share with each other. It doesn't need to be told. It doesn't need to be told, man. So if one of my boys confide in me, best believe pillow talk ain't gonna happen with me telling about what me and my boy just talked about. Not unless it has an effect on me and my relationship. Now, if it has an effect on my relationship, then I'm gonna have to do what I need to do. But if it doesn't, no, nothing needs to be said, and we're gonna keep it moving. And I'm gonna hopefully, I'm gonna let her know, please respect my boundaries, and let it be known. There's gonna be some things you share with your girlfriend. I don't need to know. I'm not gonna ask because I don't want to know. So
Hold on a second, guys. The second question to this is, he says, Bishop Jake said that sometimes a woman can flunk a man's test and she not even know she flunked. So we often talk about what happens when a woman loses respect for a man. I want to flip it. What happens when a man loses respect for his woman? Let's start with Brother Hink, and then we'll work our way back around.
you said, what happens when a woman loses respect for his woman? A man loses respect for his woman. Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Because it might take a couple years to get my respect back. It's not going to be one of those overnight things. You have to work at it to do for a situation like that. And it depends on how egregious the situation is. It could be longer. But
Again, it depends on what it is. If it's something I could probably give it a benefit of the doubt, hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you slide on that one. But we're gonna have to have a conversation. Hey, we can't do this again. So again, it depends on how egregious the situation is. You know what I'm saying? So if how fast or quick I am willing to forgive and let bygones be bygones. But if it's something crazy, man, yeah, she might not have a second chance. But it depends. So.
Okay, brother Ricky, what's up? You said I'm gonna switch the question a bit. We always talk about when a woman loses respect. What happens when a man loses respect for his woman? How does he deal with that?
I think most men stay when they lose respect. It's just at that point she's no longer a woman to them. She's an object. She's a thing. You know what I mean? Those safeguards, that you say apply, and those boundaries, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna force you out the door. I ain't gonna push you out the door. I'm just gonna move totally different. I'm gonna be reckless with your feelings because I don't care. Why should I respect you at that point? And it's like when he said uh that we testing you, like when the best example I could use is when we tell y'all something in confidence about within our vulnerability, and then y'all use it against us. Right? Y'all be taking an hour test all the time, but like I say, y'all be forgetting that number 2 pencil. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, get to when he ain't gonna push you out the door. He ain't gonna push you out the door literally. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely gonna give you the signs. He definitely, and he ain't gonna rush you out the door. He just gonna treat you like crap. I'm gonna treat you like crap. It doesn't matter how you feel about something or how it make you feel day to day. Your feelings don't apply at that point. Those boundaries get crushed down like under giant boots. You know what I'm saying? And if you choose to rock with it, oh well, that's on you.
Man, proceed. What about you? What happens when a man loses respect for his woman? And I'm posing this question because whenever this is posed in the reverse, is always the relationship is over. I never really see women go do better in their life, but it's quote unquote over. So what happens when a man loses respect? And I like something Ricky said. Can a man can that be won back? Can that respect be restored if it has been lost? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, this is a very, very good question. I don't think I've heard anybody ask that question like that before because of obvious reasons, right?
Yeah, I'm deep, man. I'm deep.
But I think if a man loses respect for his woman, typically, because it's still a man's world, right? It's not the simple, oh, I'm gone. It's not that, right? There's a lot of things going on, right? Usually, right? There's vested interest. How many children are involved? How many, how long have we been together, right? Is this a momentary thing? Is this a situation that's just that bad that I can't see myself with this person in an intimate way anymore, right? Those are the questions that comes to mind for me, right? But I would say like this: if it's a situation that I can't see myself with this person, in an intimate way, it's not necessarily that I'm leaving. Like Rick said, I think it was Rick, right? They become an object, right? Become a maid. If I have children with you, right? You take care of my children. You're probably still a good mother, right? I can handle it. I could rock with that. It depends on how old I am too, but it's probably a whole life ahead of myself, right? I could still have a good time as a man in this space, and the way this works too. Um, we could keep that under the wraps, and it doesn't have to be very messy or anything like that. And we can still all have a good life together. But I don't think it's the same thing as it's not the same picture that we see when a woman loses respect, right? Everything falls apart. It's chaotic. It's everywhere. I can't believe you, right? That kind of stuff, right? It's like usually we could see this coming, right? But also it's not as simple as we could just up and leave, because usually for a man to give you a part of you to a woman in that way that she's able to kind of destroy the respect you had for her, something catastrophic happened, right? But it's a situation where I would expect a real man, to be able to say, yeah, I don't have to rock with her in that way, but I still get some kind of value, right, from her. If she's completely zero value, then it's also okay to move on. I think one of our issues as men is that we really have a hard time leaving. we have a hard time saying, listen, this is not serving me in any way, leave. I feel like a lot of men don't really they don't feel like they have options, you know? And the truth is that we have more options than you realize, right? And a lot of people don't feel like they have options, so they stay in a situation to a point of no return from a mental standpoint, right? Some people self-delete the whole family. It gets crazy, right? And that's the part I need to start telling people like it's okay to leave. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. If you're afraid, like what happens if I leave and then somebody takes over? Yeah, what happens if you leave and somebody takes over? You answer that question. If you can't answer that question, maybe that's a problem. It's a lack of abundance mindset issue at this point. So when you lose respect for a woman, right? That's usually like a very catastrophic, because usually men don't crave respect from a woman like that anyway, right? You're looking for a person you can love, not a person you need to respect, not a person you need to look up to, not in that way at least, right? We're looking for a woman that can be a supporting role in your life, typically, right? So you lost respect is kind of like it's so far from reality. She must have done something crazy. How did you leave yourself that wide open? How much control exactly did you have of your life? How much attention were you paying to your own life? Because I still strongly believe that the way the woman moves is a function of how the man moves. This is not a matter of it's a fault, if it's his fault or not. It's a matter of just a reality, right? So it's a lot there that I would want to unpack in a real life story, in a real life example, right? But still a fantastic question nonetheless. But I think men need to really start to be encouraged. Like it's okay to disengage from a situation that's not serving you. It's okay, even if it's temporary, right?
Now we're going to address that. That sounds different. And I got a follow up question for all of you guys as well. But salute to you, podcast. What's up, man? So let's jump in. Let's answer this one question. So, what happens to a man when he loses respect for his woman? I'm bringing up this question because we always hear if a woman loses respect for her man, it's over with. We always talk about that. But flipping that, what does it look like when a man loses respect for his woman? Is the relationship over then? What's your thought on that?
I think you on mute, podcast.
Oh, you was coming to me? Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely for you. Like, definitely address.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, respect. You know what? Let me do this. You know, I like to do this all the time. I like to. I realize a lot of times we use words based on how we feel about them, right? Respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. So I do think you can get past it. And the reason why I say that is because I know people who were in relationships with folks who were on drugs. And there's no way that you actually respect the person that's on drugs, a person that's stealing out of the house to sell things to get to drugs, being gone for 3 and 4 and 5 days because they binging on drugs. I don't think you can respect that person, but I do think you can love them. You can be loyal to them. You can have, I don't want to say unconditional, but something along the lines of that, some sort of affection or whatever you want to call it towards that person, to where you just don't give up on them. I know I got an uncle who was on drug for like, man, the better part of 20 years. And this woman never left him. You know what I mean? She never left him. He ended up going to this spot called the Potter's House, got clean, and they still together to this day, right? So we talking like 35 years of them being together, and 20 of them he was on drugs. But when it comes to men, I would probably say it's less likely that the relationship will last. If the guy lost that deep feeling of admiration for the woman. But if it's something like drugs or weight or something like that, I do think men can in generally move past that and excuse me, get to a place where the relationship remains. But if you're talking about cheating, I think you're hard pressed to get a guy to stay around after that, especially if anybody else knows about it, especially if it was somebody that you know. Even though I do know situations where guys tried to stay after that, but I think you would be hard pressed if it was. It depends on what it is, but if it's something like that, like cheating or stealing or something you did to the kid that causes a man to lose respect, yeah, I believe he's out of there.
Anybody want to respond to that?
What podcast say or the question?
Yeah, just in general before we move on.
Okay. Yeah, if it's my girl, she ain't gonna make it. Now, if it's my wife, then that's the difference. Now, I when you said it, I didn't know if that's what you meant or not, Sir Hale. So I was kind of hard. But now, if it's my girl, we ain't gonna make it. Yeah, we ain't gonna make it. She gonna get cut loose, and I'm gonna move on to the next one, man. Because no respect. She don't deserve that. She ain't got the privilege or she ain't got the longevity. Her seniority is just not good enough for me to even make that attempt. So if you're my wife, your seniority is automatic, and you got a chance. It's gonna take a little time. It's gonna take a couple good nights. You know what I'm saying? Some bubble baths, some back massages, and some happy endings. But yeah, I'll come around.
Yeah. You asked a question earlier about if respect can be earned back. Yeah. Absolutely, but it's almost impossible. All right. It requires a lot of patience. Most human beings don't have that level of patience, especially when we're talking about from a man to a woman, right? And then it depends on, like, again, vested interest, right? If you have vested interest, let's say, for example, you got children with this woman, children, not one, right? A situation where it really deeply hurts you. In fact, the more it hurts you, the higher the chances you might stay. And by the way, men stay in terrible betrayals more than we realize. They don't admit it because, again, people's ego, pride as a man is involved. They might even cover it up for the man, right? For the woman, rather, right? So, but of course, it's easier because of the society we live in for women to say he cheated on me. It's not that easy for a man to admit that to his friends. So, especially if it looks hopeful to him. If it looks hopeful, even if it's not hopeful, right? To him, right? So there's a lot of that we would probably never see in the data. Like, how many have you been cheated on? Unless you make it anonymous in collecting such data, right? So a lot of that's happening. But can you rebuild not just respect, trust, respect, right? All these things can be rebuilt back with time, patience, consistency, but it's almost impossible.
A good point. Yeah, the reason I brought this up, y'all, is because the truth is, I've noticed in relationships that really last, like the ones that really last, the good ones, that the man has a profound respect for his woman. Like if you ever guys ever see how Denzel Washington talks about his wife, it's a level of respect there. I think that for men who are successful, if that doesn't exist, there is no relationship. And I think that we need to bring this up because I don't think enough women understand that they also have to keep up their end of the bargain as well. Like men must maintain a level of respectability. Women have to do the very same thing as well. They can't get away with everything. So I really appreciate you guys indulging on that one. Any final thoughts before we move on? All right, let's check out this next clip, and we'll respond after this.
Have to understand this. Y'all are hard-headed, and women don't listen. Sometimes.
It's a very likewise statement.
Hell no.
One more time. That went by kind of fast.
Yeah, that was a point. You guys saw what happened? Y'all caught that? I'm going to play it one more time.
Have to understand this. Y'all are hard-headed, and women don't listen. Sometimes.
It's a very likewise statement.
Hell no.
Right.
Y'all caught that?
Evidently.
He's trying to make a point.
Real
Women
time.
don't listen. And then while he's saying women don't listen, and they saying yes we do, she cuts him right off. How do we navigate this? Because this happens a lot, where when a man is making a point, and I just noticed it, y'all, in these kind of conversations, men talk, men are whining, men are complaining. When women talk, they're communicating. It's therapy for women. So I just noticed that subtle difference when men talk about stuff. Men are venting when we talk about now. Men are talking about things because we want to get better at communication. So how do you address that? Like if a man, I typically see it in these kind of conversations, men try to make points. And while the man is making a point, it seems like a lot of women don't have the capability of just listening and absorbing what's being said. You guys see that? If so, why do you think that is? Anybody can jump in.
For those who have ears, let them hear. Right? And that's what I keep telling you, fellas. It don't matter what they think, bro. No one can. If they hard headed, they hard headed. See, this is the problem. Let me tell y'all the problem for real, right? It's not our job to understand them, nor their job to understand us, right? That's where if we're gonna talk about the respect factor, right? Me as a man, right? If I'm out here and I'm doing the things I need to do to make your life better, you ain't gotta understand or know how it happened. All you gotta know is that it happens. That's it. Right? If you respect me, right? If you had respect, you will understand that, hey, this the way I'm rolling. This the way. I mean, as a man, I owe it to you to lay out the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? That's only right. But as far as them understand, they'll never understand us. They don't care. That, like I said, I said this before, bro. Communication is nothing without being willing to understand. It's nothing. It's like somebody that speak English and somebody that speaks Spanish. Yeah, y'all communicating, but y'all don't understand each other. So what point does it make? Right? We need to stop talking to these. They don't care. They don't listen. They don't listen. So what difference does it make? The conversation we're supposed to have about how men elevate and how we improve and how we get from point A to B to C, that's supposed to be between us, and then we implement. Right? And then we implement. And the ones that's with it gonna be with it. And the ones that's not is not. But all this talking, we talk in the bedroom. That's where we talk. That's when you make the most impact. That's when they willing to listen in when you up in that thing. Did you hear what I said? Right? But as far as real world talk, this everyday stuff, like if it's not about, okay, baby, how'd your day go? What we need in the house? So we need eggs. What's the point? They see the world one way and we see it another. That's not going to change anytime soon. The problem is they want us to see the world the way they see it. That's the problem when we're never meant to. It's never going to happen. Communication without understanding is fruitless. And they don't want to understand what men go through. And personally, I don't want to understand what they go through. I don't care. You my woman. All I got to do is make sure you're there for me like I need you to be, and vice versa. That's all I got.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah, let me say this. Most of the time, women like to lecture. They want to communicate. Communicate means just conversation back and forth. But it's not. They just want you to listen so they can lecture and speak on the whole time and get up there and grandstand and do what they do, which is cool because most men don't like to talk a lot anyway. I said this on the show before, man. If you get 2 hours for a week out of a man, you got a whole lot of conversation. You just don't realize it because men don't have a lot to say. They want to be at peace. They want to come home, watch the game, drink a beer, just relax, get out the shower, man, and just kick back. Eat a good hot dinner. He cool. He gonna ask you a couple questions, gonna sit back and listen to you talk. Now, I know all men, it's not all men like that, but most of them. I know for sure with me, I asked her, baby, how was your day? And that was it. I sit back and just listen. Just take it all in. Because I know she just want to unwind and unload. And I'm going to give you that. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't really got a lot to say. Because I don't want to talk about work anyway. But I know she does. So I'm going to bless her and do what I can to help her out and to ease her mind. So, yeah, as far as that, So if when we do have something to say, best believe, ladies, y'all need to listen. Y'all need to listen because, especially when you got the type man who doesn't talk a lot anyway or communicate a lot, you really should listen. Should nothing be said. Don't ask no questions. Just let that man get off whatever he's got to get off, whatever it is. You know, if it's gonna challenge you and hurt your little feelings, then accept it and move on. I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, I don't like his tone." Stop it, man. You're not talking to your girlfriend. You're talking to your man, your husband. There's a difference. There's always gonna be a difference. Communication with a man and a woman. There always is. Are we always gonna be sensitive to everything? No, we're not. But we are gonna try to do? Come up with a way to fix it or some type of solution to correct it. That's what we're gonna do. Don't call us being judgmental. No, we're not being judgmental. We just seeing what it is. Why your girlfriend act like that? She a little hoe. She need to go sit her butt down somewhere. I hope you don't be doing that. Don't take notes after her. Matter of fact, you may need to just leave her alone. Don't hang with her. I don't like the way she's moving. And I don't want my wife to be influenced by you. So no.
Yeah, I think I mean that was a fantastic example. It was in real time, right? We saw that happen in real time. But beyond that, like the gentleman said, right? And I like the question: how do you navigate this? The key word is navigation, right? Because it is what it is, right? Especially when we're talking about romantic relationships. There's no paycheck next Friday. It's quite different. See, you could pull the paycheck, you could take that away, you have that leverage, right? But it's a different type of leverage that you have in a romantic relationship. And it's about being able to dig in deeper and find out what the value is at an emotional level. If you're not able to find out what that is, you're not really that better, right? Communication, in my opinion, is when it comes to this type of relationships that we're talking about the most, it's mostly listening, especially if you claim to be the leader in that equation. You have to listen the most. You could say something, but you got to make sure that your message is going to land. What's the point of talking if your message is not going to land? It's useless. If we're talking about your woman, somebody you care about, somebody you want to build a relationship with, clearly there's some kind of value there for you. And it's not going to be enough to say, I don't care. That's not enough because you have to tell your face you don't care. It's a disconnect. Right? So if that disconnect is there, you're confused yourself. And it's no wonder why you're creating the result you're creating if you're just as confused. So, gentlemen, we got to pay attention. It's about navigating this chaotic, very dangerous world that you put yourself in when you decide you want to engage a woman in a romantic way. It's not going to be as simple as talking, right? It's going to be, it's not going to be as simple as listening to women. Just listen to women. No, it's not that easy either, right? You listen to understand. You don't listen to follow. You're still the man. You're expected to be the man. You're going to be held accountable like a man in that situation, regardless of if she listens or not. For me personally, I wouldn't. If that's a complete stranger, I don't engage. That's all, right? If that's my woman, then I have to be willing to sow the seed to create what I'm looking for. Right? It's going to require a lot of patience on your part. Right? It's going to require a lot of listening to understand. Does that look soft? I don't know. It depends on who you are. It depends on what your goals are personally, right? Depends on what value you're looking for in the situation. Everyone's value, what they're looking for is different. So we can't look at the next man and say, hey, that looks soft. No, that sounds soft. You don't know what the other man is up to, right? So we got to pay attention to how do you navigate that. Personally, the way I navigate that is I'm always the one sowing the seed, right? So if I need to sow extra seed of patience to get what I want, then that's what I got to do. If that's the reality in my face, that's what it is, right? And if I feel like, no, the value is not there, then I also have the autonomy, the agency, I can leave. I can always leave. I have that power always as well, And like I said earlier, not enough men are leaving, right? Or when they leave, they actually mean it. Not enough men have the power to negotiate. There's always negotiations going on in this stuff, right? Because when they leave, they don't mean it, right? If she rubs you behind your head back down a little bit, are you staying? Are you pushing that issue right under the rug, never addressed? These are the issues. There's too many nuances. It's too many layers to this, right? But value. What are you looking for in that situation? When she doesn't listen, right? What part are you playing in that? Without saying it's my fault. Does it have to be my fault? No, nobody talked about faults. What part are you playing in that role? The fact that she doesn't listen. If that was an example right there that we just saw, if that was my girl, right? And she kind of talk over me like that, I'm like, we can't talk about this right now. You need to get yourself together and then we can talk. Let's talk about this tomorrow. If it's a situation of safety, security, I said, no, go somewhere. I got this. No, leave it alone. I got this. And hopefully you've earned enough respect to be able to say that with your girl.
So I'm gonna get in here real quick. So I'm gonna start off by saying it. I recommend any young man with a woman who's compatible, leave her alone. Like, I've learned that if she's like that initially, that's not gonna change. And I think what happens is you end up having some good moments. You guys get a new car, you gotta get a new house, and that serves as a buffer between the time you got that initial disrespect and then you get it again. But if that's how that woman is, there's nothing you can do. You can talk about negotiation. You can talk about being understanding. Like, you don't have enough to change that woman. It has to be in her. She has to see that need to change. Otherwise, you're going to be spending your time trying to figure somebody out who doesn't even know how to figure their own self out. And I think that's a waste of a productive man's time. What do you guys think about that? And salute to Mr. He said.
I said leave. Like, based on what you just said, leave. Demonstrates that you can leave. Like, don't just say. Leave. I think it's a powerful thing to be able to leave a minute.
Okay. You gotta stop repeating yourself. Listen, all that may be good and fine, well, and dandy. I think one of the problems that the ladies have, and even I'm probably starting to have with these kind of conversations, is that we speak from a point of view like ain't nothing wrong with the men. And I know we're addressing women right now, which I have absolutely no problem with, right? I love to do it. But the fact of the matter is the men ain't perfect either. And I hate to say that right now, because what I really wanted to say was, it sounds like you're blaming men for women's behavior again, Mo, and I don't like that. No, a woman, when you meet a woman, she is an adult person who has been programmed and has behaviors and beliefs and attitudes and all that type of stuff before you ever met her. So I don't think the way I move has anything to do with the way that she moves, unless I do something she don't like. She might have an attitude about it, but even then, her response isn't indicative of what I did or who I am as a person. That's just how she's been groomed to respond to things. Period. I can't blame her for how I react to things, and she can't blame me for how she reacts to things, right? But at the end of the day, it's a lot of people out here that are going through things, some things undiagnosed. They don't even know that's what they're dealing with. A lot of people have behavioral complexes that they don't understand themselves. We want other people to understand it when we don't even understand it. Just like women who respond the way that woman did in that video. That, to me, that's ego-based. I think women don't listen. Excuse me. Women don't listen, or they listen to respond, right? For the same reason that men listen to correct. Too often I have conversations with dudes, specifically on these panels on YouTube, and they just listening to what you say so they can find something to try to correct about it. Right. And the same thing with women. They listen to give you the whataboutism, which is exactly what she did. Oh, it's a likewise statement. Right. But in the moment you're not addressing what's being said to you, you're just being dismissive. You're deflecting from the fact that this man is bringing up an issue that he has with the way that women communicate. And then instead of you addressing that, you're trying to just rebut to it. You want to be dismissive about it and then say it in a way as if you're saying, well, you know, the reason why women behave this way is because of men. And that's BS. So I think I just said a lot. I hope people understood it, but you kind of got to get away from ego. You definitely got to get away from holding men accountable for the way the women behave. And we definitely got to have to start speaking in a manner where it shows more empathy and understanding versus judgment. Mr. He said.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I'm with that. Mr. He said. You go ahead, bro. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Amazing conversation so far. Shout out to all of the fellas. Much appreciated. When I hear communication, I kind of think back to speech class, man, and the responsibility is on the orator. You have to repackage it, reword it, or whatever to help them with their perception of your delivery. But the onus is on you to deliver. So, when it comes to communication, I absolutely agree with Brother Ricky. If there's no understanding, then you can communicate till you blue in the face. It's going to be a lack of communication there, just because of the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding that it takes in order to build on a conversation. And people are very, very unique when it comes to receiving information, and especially information they might not be in line with. So that's why we see what we see. And all we can do is be the men that we are. Continue to, again, stand on an island. Sometime it might be cold on that island, it might be raining, but that's the difference between us and them. We're willing to stand on that island by ourselves in the rain, because what we saying is right. We not on men's side, we not on women's side, especially us men sitting up here. If it's one thing I can't stand, it's a Pookie Ray. They are expected to do less. I'm expected to perform every day. And, it's not a lot of room for, errors. And for men to have a easier way out, for men to have a scapegoat. I look at it as a little insensitive, and we'll get to them. But I don't think, simps and modern women get to dictate when we pull a car out of neutral. So, me, I'll just turn the car off. So, if this is what I choose to talk about, if this is where I'm sitting, this is where I'm sitting. Because again, I'm almost 50 years old. I'm not looking from men's advantage point, women's advantage point. I'm just looking from a moral compass on what life is supposed to be, as far as knowledge, wisdom, and understanding when it comes to building on life. So, I hang my hat heavy on that, and communication is a very important part of it. But without a certain knowledge to be able to understand, to be able to comprehend, it's going to be a hard conversation.
And I wanted to jump on it, to be honest, because if we want to be honest about the situation, most women, even if you communicating with them, if you don't package it in a way that's approved by them, they still won't believe it, even though you giving them right knowledge and right understanding. So what should we do as men? Continue to package it pretty so they can get it, right? Or should we be upstanding men and simply say what we mean and mean what we say? I'm telling y'all, one of them easier, right? Be a man, stand on what you say, because it's not our job to capitulate. That's what y'all know. It's not our job to do that. They are trying to switch. You're trying to switch the natures of men, and as we are meant to be brolic. We are meant to be aggressive. We are the penetrators, right? So again, if the way I was taught to speak is to be direct, quick, and to the point. Now, what's the problem? So again, with that being said, is it that my communication skills are bad, or the women that I'm speaking to lack the understanding to understand how a man speaks? You choose. Because otherwise I'd be spending my entire life trying to make a point to somebody who don't want to listen. And that's the problem. We out here trying to communicate to people who don't want to understand. They don't care. They don't want to listen. So if they don't want to listen, why should I as a man care? I can't protect what I can't correct. So y'all keep being y'all keep being fuzzy. Y'all keep being fuzzy if y'all want to.
Brother Ricky, I need you to rewind that. Say that last part again.
I cannot protect what I cannot correct.
That's a bar.
So I'm looking for some kind of balance between what Brother Ricky just said and what Mr. He said just said, right? Gentlemen, who's responsible for the understanding?
She
I think
is.
somebody said it earlier before.
She
So
is. The person that's looking to receive the knowledge and information. They're responsible for their own understanding, not me. Not me. It's not my job to build or break anybody. It's simply my job to stay out the way. That's it. And this what y'all don't understand is men, no pun intended. If she's not for you, she's not for you. I'm not trying to build traits into a woman that don't have them. I'm not trying to build that into you. Like y'all say all the time, it's just funny to me how men in these spaces, y'all say things that y'all don't even enforce. You should be a wife when you get to me. A wife know how to listen and understand how a man moves. That's a quality of a wife. So who lying? Is it us or them?
Well, you can't. The one thing I think we can't, like when we say men say things in this space that they can't enforce. I mean, it's a reason for that. It's the same reason why if you can't find a job, right, that's paying the type of money you want or in the type of career you want, what do people say? Man, just get a job, right? But then when you apply that same thinking to women, people will say, oh, well, you crazy. Well, practice makes perfect. If you tend to respond and behave one way in life, you're probably going to respond and behave and make the same kind of decision in every other way in life because it's going to come easy to you. So that's one of the reasons why you'll see men making those kind of choices, choosing women that not necessarily lining up with the things that they preaching online. You can't. Nobody is 100%. I don't care how cute you think you are, how much money you think you got, how swole you think your body is, how big you think your booty is. None of that don't matter. Nobody ain't 100%. So at some point, you're going to say, nah, they ain't got that, or you know what, this is something about them I don't really like, but you know, I'm not going to give up 80% because of this 20. And it just so happened for some men that 20% might be she got a mouth, you know. And that's just how it work out sometimes. I'm not saying who should or should not deal with it. I'm just saying that's why it looks that way.
All right. So in terms of this, was that?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
All right. In terms of understanding, I want to get back to this understanding. I feel like we need to break that down a little bit further. What that looks like in a real life relationship, right? A lot of you are gentlemen, been in long term relationships, sound like at least before, right? Sometimes there's conflict, right? There's crisis, there's misunderstanding, we call it, right? In communication breakdown in relationship. It happens more often than we like, you know, especially if you're earlier on, you're a young man, right? These things happen, right? And you're having a communication with a person on the other side, you're talking, before you know it, it escalated to a point of no one is hearing anybody out. This is usually how this plays out, right? And then you put your foot down as a man, you say what you feel. I feel like if you do that, if that's all you did, we'll have less crisis because at least you're demonstrating you have a vision for what your life needs to look like, right? But usually too, men are not sure of themselves. This is not blaming men. This is I'm painting a picture of what it looks like, right? Sometimes there's a woman you care about. You want them to understand you. You put a little extra effort, you know, to get them to reason with you, right? This is how this plays out usually, right? So, Low Podcast, he said that we need, you know, women are adults. Granted, 100%, right? Hopefully, you're dealing with an adult, right? Men are also adults, right? So, I feel like this comedy, maybe Sir Hill is still going to bring up other questions that will help us dig in a little bit deeper into what this looked like in real life. Because if you notice, I've said I feel like a few times because I'm speaking my feelings, period, right? This is just my filters. This is how I see life, right? So I feel like in real life, when this start to play out, right, we're all going to get caught up in our emotions, especially if you feel as a man you're saying what you mean and she's refusing. this is our mindset right now, based on what we just said, right? She's refusing to understand. There's only one way I can respond to that as a man. If I feel like you're refusing to understand me, it's almost like it's a deliberate action on your part as a woman. I'm cutting you off if I feel like that. I don't have time for that because I feel the same way you feel. I don't have time to be helping you become an adult so you can stop deliberately dismissing what I told you as the man that you trusted, that you decided to respect, right? I'll
So
cut you
let
off.
me ask you something, right?
Yeah.
Would you recommend that a man take that same approach with a woman who he has children with?
I don't see much different. I think it's different in real life, like Brother Ink said earlier, right? Because of vested interest. It's just you don't like. That's just my girl. Like I could get another one, right? If you have children and this is your wife, it's different because now you can't just throw your hands in the air and fly off the handle, right? Because you know that you're gonna be held accountable more in real life, right? So this conversation, as much as I want to, I would love it to. I'm a man too, like I hope so, right? To simplify this to, hey, either this or that, we keep it moving. But Brother Ricky said something. We communicate differently. Are we factoring in that this is a two-way street when we say that? Maybe she's not hearing what we said, right? Or is that too much to be doing too much brain exercise for a man? I just, I would like to hear some more.
Here, because what I've noticed on my 45 years on this planet is they hear. They hear. It's not even that they don't understand. It's just their ego drives them to respond the way that they do, right? At the end of the day, I don't know if it's just because they have a vagina, but I know it has something to do with the fact that they're a woman, that they believe they have a certain privilege, right? When it comes to communication, to be able to say whatever they want to say, interpret however they want to interpret, right? I've had this argument I'm literally in this same argument with my lady right now. You upset about something, tell me what you upset about. I'm knowing something is wrong based on the way that you communicate. And then when I say I feel like something is wrong, instead of you saying, well, I am thinking about this and I am feeling this way, you just unload with this long, soliloquy of a text message, unload on me in a way you wouldn't unload on your white boss, right? You know better at this point, almost 40 years old, that's not proper communication. You know better. So it's a choice. You're choosing to respond that way. It didn't have nothing to do with how I communicated or how I moved. Because I literally gave you grace and said, something in my spirit is telling me something ain't right. And then boom. When I'm literally opening up the gate for you to say, well, you know what? Yeah, this is bothering me. This is bothering me. And this is bothering me. And then I can say, dun, 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 here I come to save the day. But you respond the way you respond, and now I'm like, okay, then goofy bro, forget you and all this other stuff because I'm mad now because you continue to unload on me a certain way. No, it ain't got nothing to do with me. That's all on you as an adult person. You know better, and I know you know better because you've been on your job for 7 years. You won't last that long if you communicate with them the way you communicate with me. You see what I'm saying?
Are you
never gonna tell a man it's his responsibility?
Are you willing to admit that you've been entertaining this, that you're playing a part in this, or no?
Yes, because right now I'm saying it, and it's whenever you say something you're going through with a woman, it don't matter what it is. Right now, I just said that she doesn't communicate properly, and everybody is hearing she's the worst woman in the world. That's not what I'm saying. I will take this over some of the stuff I hear other niggas deal with. That is a fact, right? So I haven't came home and heard the bed creaking yet. I'm just saying. So at the end of the day, I'll take the fact that she's right, still having to grow and mature communication wise. It's okay. It's not really doing me any harm. It was the way I used to respond to it was what did me harm. Right now, I just respond to it differently. I don't let it mess up my day. I still get to come and do my podcast. I keep a smile on my face, grab me some Chinese food, and keep it moving. We'll be all right. You see what I'm saying?
But podcast, how long would you deal with that though? How long should you deal with that?
what I just described,
Yes, sir.
I would deal with that for the rest of my life. It's not that big of a deal. That's what I'm saying. I bring stuff to the table that she got to deal with, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's not that big of a deal. But what we're discussing is communication, right? So it's not like she was in a text message just cussing me out, calling me all kind of names. It wasn't that. She just unloaded it all, right, in a way to try to make it seem like I'm selfish and I don't care, which is absolutely not true because the text said something in my spirit is telling me something is right, something ain't right. And she just lost a family member, so I wasn't trying to pick at her to find out what it was. I'm gonna give you a space to grieve. You see what I'm saying? So I know that too is probably part of the reason why she unloaded it all, right? She's dealing with all these different things, but still in all, it's a way to communicate. And it's a healthy way to do it. And I don't always communicate healthy, and she don't always communicate healthy.
So wait, you're saying to Mr. Ricky here that some fucks are given.
I never said there wasn't, but I got a question. I got a question for a little podcast though.
Let me go after you, Ricky.
It's just a question, Hank. I like to touch on. Okay, so I think the text message you sent was pretty clear and concise. Would you say, "Hey, I feel in my spirit something's wrong," quote unquote, right? So was it her fault for misunderstanding that and not understanding that, or was it your fault?
To answer your question, I would say it was her fault, but I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a misunderstanding, right? What I think is that women in general believe that with their men and in their houses, right, they have what the YouTube word I've been hearing a lot, carte blanche. I don't know how to spell it, don't know what it really means. I just know how people using it, right? So that they have carte blanche to just unload, bro, to just let it out. It's like, let's let me get this off. I just need to just be angry. I need to release this vitriol, right? I think in general they believe that, right? They would never do it at their jobs, right? The ones who do, they get fired. So, if somebody, a woman that been on the job 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20 years, she not in there cussing people out, right? That's not happening. So, but I think with their man, they expect for us to have so much understanding, so much compassion and empathy, which I think we should, but not to the point of disrespect. And that's what I'm saying. See, it used to be disrespect. Now she ain't disrespecting me. She just unloaded it all in such an aggressive way in the text message instead of just saying, well, babe, this is what's bothering me, and this and this and this. She said it like, you ain't considering it. I don't know it. So I can't consider it because I don't know it, right? So that's why I said, to answer your question, yeah, it would be her responsibility to understand where I'm coming from. But to be honest with you, in a lot of these relationships in general, we're not sitting down in the beginning, understanding, taking the time to really understand how each other communicates. We're not doing that. We just get into these relationships because she look good and she think you got the bag. And then next thing you know, it's kids, it's rent, it's light, all this other stuff going on. And you don't even know that when she sneezes and hold it in, she's trying to let you know she want a hug, right? And she don't know when you go, that means you hungry, right? You want her to go make you a sandwich. We just get into these relationships and we don't take the time to understand how each other communicates. But that's what these shows are for. So salute to Sir Hale and salute to the panel.
Man, he has something that he wants to get here as well. It's on you.
Well, let me say this, man. God damn. I don't play that. Now, podcast, I understand what you talk about 20-some years ago when I used to get a girl because she's cute and all that. I understand. Yep. He at 47 ain't doing that shit no more. Look, I have certain standards that I abide by. You're going to either pass this test or you're going to fail it. And you need to have at least 70 or higher to pass my test. 60 or below, you fail, and I'm going to leave your ass at a goddamn restaurant. And I have no problem with leaving anybody or any chick at a restaurant. My lady now, I left her ass in the garage. You want to sit there and talk and argue? No, not me. I left her right in that car. She was mad as hell. But that's not what I'm doing. That's not how I'm moving. I'm not going for that. So you got to have a certain standards. Whatever standard it is, and then you got certain standards where you don't move. Some standards are adjustable, right? Some things you'll sacrifice, you'll give up. Oh, okay, well, she can't cook as well as my old girlfriend, but she could cook good enough, right? she's not as clean as my ex, but she cleans enough to my standards. You know what I'm saying? But the certain standard, I just don't move. First of all, you don't cuss at me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. Look here, we're not going to sit here and go back and forth. You're not going to call me out of my name. We're not doing none of that. As far as disrespect, I'm going to respect you and listen to what you say. But I also need for you to listen and respect when I have something to say. So when we talking, don't interrupt me in the middle of the thing. And I'm gonna give you that warning shot. I'm not done. I'm not finished. Let me finish. And then whatever you got to say it. But certain things you just men can't go for. We know in 2023 these women are probably at the most disrespectful people. We know they are. They get more and more disrespectful because we know they got their protection. Mr. Charlie gonna protect their asses. We understand that, but at the same time, you still got to let it be known up front, here and now. So I'm telling you, even y'all 20-year-olds, I know that they look good, that they can throw it back, or they smell good, or whatever the case may be. Still have your standards. I wish I had my standards like I should have right now. Then I didn't. My standard was look good, halfway cook a decent meal, and give me some good loving on a regular basis. That was my standards. Not in 2023, not 47. Standards got to be changed because I expect more and I demand more and I deserve more. So I'm going to get more. And if not, I will flex my options like a bad boy and keep it moving. So every man should move like that. Don't let a woman determine on how you move, how you carry yourself, how you talk, or how you act. She doesn't determine that. As a man, you do. She doesn't determine that. You got too many options. It's damn near 1 to 10 in most states. Flex.
I just want that to breathe for a second. Dang. Incinerated it. Okay. Or anybody got a response for this?
The Puerto Rican woman is God.
What?
It was good to have a podcast while it lasted. It was really
Appreciate you. Huh?
It was really good to have one on today.
He said while it lasted.
Guys, I think this is important to say, and I think what you said is important. Most men don't hear that. This is why I think it's important to have strong men to say things, because a lot of guys, we think we got to build women, and there's a difference between building a woman who don't want to be built and loving on a woman and helping her to become her very best self. Completely different things. And I'm of the mindset that a man, let me tell you a little story. I learned it really early. I would have a lot of I was a musician, so I would have a lot of little girlfriends. It takes time trying to fix people. It just takes time. And looking back on my life now, I spent hours trying to fix people. I could have been putting into my craft. I could have been making some money. When I look back all of them years, they still ain't changed. Because there's nothing that I can influence, but they got to be open to that influence in order to want to change, and vice versa. Like a woman can inspire me, but if I don't have it in me to change my own self, she can be as inspiring as she wants to. I got to have at least a little something in me. And I think too many of us men, we spend time trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. I've been saying this for the last few weeks, and men have to stop that. As painful as it is, I think, Ricky, you said this. If she's not for you, I don't care what you do. You can be a 6-figure man. You can be 6 feet tall. You can have a 6-pack. You could have 6 inches. You could know Jesus. You could have everything. If she's not for you, you can't be good enough for a woman that's not for you. And I think the trouble is a lot of men can't accept that. And then we don't believe that we got options. What do you guys think about that? Is that on? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think you spoke to. Yeah, I agree real quick, Rick. I agree because that was me for a long time. I was focused on trying to fix my woman and fix her kids, and now I don't do that anymore. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like you get to a point where you realize you drop what you're gonna drop. Right? It's like you learn how to plant seeds. Hey, you know what? That ain't the best way to move. Real talk. Ooh. Boom, and then you get back to doing what you got going on, whatever that is, working, podcasting, working out, being a daddy, whatever. You just don't spend a whole bunch of time on other people. You know what I'm saying? You plant your seeds as you move along, and you watch people grow. They soak in information. It's not going to be like that though, right? It's not. When a man gets to whatever they call provider status, they saying men reaching a financial peak in their late 30s or early 40s, right? That's when you're able to provide for a woman or for a family. But beforehand, you were still sleeping with women, right? You were still making kids. You wasn't in a position yet. You want everybody to understand that, and you want them to allow you the space to be able to grow and become the best version of yourself. Give that to everybody. I ain't saying you got to stick around with everybody. You got to know what you're willing to tolerate and move accordingly. But I'm saying just give that space to everybody. If somebody shows you something, plant the seed, see if they allow it to, fertilize and accept the information, digest it, make it applicable to their lives in your space, and grow with them as such. I mean, that's kids, wife, mama, friends, siblings, coworkers, whatever. Because my space is my space. That's how I live now. My space is my space. So if you can't at least operate a certain way in my space, I don't care who you are. You got to move around. The mamas, everybody, kids, everybody. I don't owe you nothing. I got one life, and I want this much peace. That's all I'm asking for. It don't take that much. But I still think as much as I want grace as a person that deals with depression and anxiety, oh man, I need a lot of grace. I done snapped off on a bunch of people on YouTube, right? And a couple of times it was unforced, right? So, and I still have relationships with those people because they granted me the space and the understanding and the empathy based on who I am as a person. They understood that, and so we get to move forward. I just don't understand the point, and that's why I'm not disagreeing. But the idea of just cutting everybody off, bro, none of us, it will never be no black families no more if we go by that standard. Nobody will get married until they 50 on their way out this joint.
There is a distinction that you just made that I think is very, very important, right? There's a difference between loving on a woman so she can be the best of herself, right? And trying to build a woman, right? After that, that's all I'm trying to say. I need everyone to understand that our role as men in the social construct we find ourselves is still what it is. It's a society, right? And when there's crisis, right? When there's crisis that comes to every relationship at some point, do you know how to make the decision between the two? Is this me building a woman, or this is me learning how to resolve conflict, right? That right there is going to be another level of the conversation, right? But I agree with you, Sir Hale. It's not sustainable. Nobody should be trying to build humans.
You muted, bro.
It was on me. I was talking. I'm sorry. Did I miss a question?
You muted.
And so we're essentially talking about, my man, I'm broken dusted tonight, y'all. So we're essentially talking about, there's a difference because my belief system is most men we've romanticized this idea of just keep on giving, just keep on loving, keep on understanding. And the more I counsel and talk, here's something that I've learned. Most men don't have different complaints. Most men don't. Most men have the same complaint and say it a lot. And I've noticed that if a man says something 10 times, a woman hears 10 different issues. Like she doesn't put 10 different things together like that's one issue. And is that on men to keep on finding ways to get women to understand that? Like, at what point do we say, you know what, this is enough. You're not getting it. Let me move on to somebody who does. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. At some point, it has to be ignorance or negligence. Your pick. And like I said, it's definitely on you as a speaker to relay your message. And I also said you need to repackage it, reword it, whatever you see fit. But if you continue to make these necessary adjustments and, there's no results, again, it's one of two things. It's either ignorance, or it's negligence. You deliberately hear, and like you said, you keep clicking on buzzwords, and again, that's that double dutch, that sophistication we show, and then the naivety we show. That you're sophisticated enough to click on the buzzwords, but you're not sophisticated enough to listen to the whole argument in totality. So, you know, you gotta check people's character and play the cards that they give you, so to speak. And don't fool yourself. Like you said, some guys want to trust a big butt and a smile and come up with other reasons of why they want to ignore, you know, the obvious. But again, you know, a little bit of sophistication may take the place for that. And I believe you said that just we try to pour into people who don't deserve it, or we try to pour in a little too much. I think, fellas, you got to recognize that on your own. Again, sports, you know, when things ain't going your way, you know, when we keep on beating a dead horse, we keep going to Ricky and nothing's coming. We got to go to Hank now. We got to go to podcasts. We got to figure out some other ways, but we can't keep beating a dead horse thinking we're going to get different results, because that's just, you know, not manly. It's not logical. And that's just not how we move.
That's a fact. Anybody else want to respond to this? And then we're going to move to our next reaction. All right, let's do this.
A real woman will respect a man even when she's mad at him, because she recognizes that respect and admiration lead to a man's overall emotional health.
Yes, so here's the question, everybody. Here's the question. It's an old saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It says something like, a drunk man and an angry man, they tell the truth. Like whenever they say something, an angry man or a drunk man, insert what man or woman, is what a woman says to you in anger, and vice versa too. Is that really always how a person feels, either when they're drunk or when they're angry and something either cruel or disrespectful comes out? Is that truly a sign of how they really see and feel about you on the inside? What do you guys think about that?
Is that truly how they feel? Yes, feelings is momentary, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, so let me say it a different way. Is it the truth? I know if we say feelings, we can say feelings change. I know where you're going, manifestation, but I mean, is it the truth of how they see you? Like, so if let's say your woman gets drunk and then she gets completely disrespectful towards you and she starts saying all kinds of stuff, is that really a sign of how she really sees you? And then if so, what do you do with that?
I choose to believe is the truth. There's only so much I can see in life, personally, as a human being, right? I choose to believe is the truth, his hard truth of how she feels in that moment. Is it the grand scheme of truth, facts? That's no, of course not. It's feelings, right? But I believe there's some truth. There's a lot of truth to how she felt when she's dropping all those things while she was drunk, right? Listen, people blame social media for things these days. Social media manufactures nothing. Social media magnifies who we are. Our behavior will come here. Yes, it magnifies it to exponential levels. I get that, but it's still humans. This has always been human behavior. Before there was social media, they dragged themselves. I was still having this conversation with my father today. They dragged themselves out into the streets and they drag each other on that street physically. Now they can use the keyboard, right? And they can do the same thing they can use on the phone, right? There's the same behavior. If somebody is showing you who they are, it's not helpful to say maybe like, that's exactly how she felt in that moment in time. How do you move? It depends on what we're talking about, right? But you need to take that as her truth, right? Whatever it means, and especially as men, we need to learn more how to see reality for what it is, right? You need to see results as what they are, right? And then you can move accordingly. You can choose the direction. You can record your direction if you have to at that point. But if you're in denial about what is clearly being expressed to you, that's a problem. And every move you make after that is still going to be wrong too, because you're starting with a lie, right? So feelings are real. Feelings are momentary. They are not truth per se, like that you have to take as it means it must always be that way. That's not the truth, right? But it's the truth in that moment, and it means something, and you have to treat it accordingly. It means something. You have to pay attention to it.
Nobody? Y'all ain't gonna say nothing? Nobody?
I got something.
Go ahead.
I I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I do believe that there's a certain level of truth that comes from it, inebriation, little kids, angry people. But I think that's an in the heat of the moment type of situation. And like last Boy Scout, you guys are old school like me. Every lie got 80% truth inside of it. So, I think that's the nuance that I operate from, that no matter what you say, I think there was a shot in there somewhere. Some people may end it with, I was just kidding, or I'm only joking, but it was some truth in there somewhere. And I think, again, that's the sophistication on ourselves to take a listen carefully to what they said. Did that come from a place of constructive criticism, somewhere different? And I think it's time to start to, reevaluate or evaluate the relationship as such. But I do think that you have to listen, for detail. You have to listen attentively and listen that inside of all statements, there's a little bit of truth in there to give us a little bit of information about ourselves, whether they're doing it directly, indirectly, or something different. That's my take.
Well, I think, hey man, is it true? I need y'all to listen. Y'all don't be listening, bro.
Did you hear what I said?
Is it true? Oh, he trying to hurt your feelings. She trying to hurt your feelings. Was what they said true? Was it? See, because what this proved to me is that if that's the case, right? If a person feels a certain way about you and they still dealing with you, it show that their feelings really don't matter. They understand the dynamics of being in relationships that benefit them. Y'all don't hear me though.
Did you hear what I said?
Right? To be honest with y'all, if I'm being honest, when that stuff happened, when it used to happen I look at it as a fixing moment. Right? Because this how you really feel about it. Right? This how you really feel about it. So what can we do to get past this? Right? That, to be honest, that's a real true point of communication. Because at that point, you pull away all the minutia, you pull away all the BS, you pull away all the rose-colored glasses and the friendly stuff, and this person is telling you what they don't agree with about you. It's ugly, I know, but see what y'all don't understand. Usually, when it's time for when you change in a relationship, it's usually the ugly stuff that make the good changes happen. It ain't the sitting on the couch and the fuzzy feeling and the roses every day. That's not when the change happens. You got to be uncomfortable to change. Right? So if it's true, it's true. If it's not, and it's just some rhetoric they spitting out, right? That's when the respect comes in. Right? Just like the lady said. Respect is respect. It's not in you, it's on you. It's not on you, it's in you. My bad, I flipped that. Right? So again, if it's true, it's true. You should address it as such. As a man, if your woman telling you the truth about you, how's that disrespect? It's the truth. Right? The truth. I don't care how it come at me, what it sound like, what color it is. If it's the truth, I'll be like, you know what? That's what's up. Why you ain't never say nothing about this is the question I'ma say. If it was that bad, why you still here is the questions I'm gonna ask. Or is this something we can work on? If I have enough value in you, if I see enough value, and especially if I was the one initiating the interaction to get to this point.
Let's just be honest, bro. Women are evil, right? In general, women are evil. When they mad, they will say the most hurtful things they can possibly say, which is why you see domestic violence numbers looking the way that it looks. So it don't necessarily mean that it's true. It can be something taken out of context. It could be something that personal you dealing with. You got hit by a bus, so you got a cast on your leg. They're gonna be cast leg, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it's gonna be. right? They're gonna try to twist whatever they can. You know, you wear glasses for that. You know, whatever they can, bro. Women are evil. They like little kids. This is the first time I heard somebody actually compare women to kids was on YouTube. And at first I was like, wait a minute, what? And then the more they talk and the more we go through it, it's like, think they really are like little kids, right? So do I think you should have a certain measure of respect? Yeah, you mad and you want to say a bunch of stuff. It don't have to come with a bunch of cuss words. It don't have to come with a bunch of ad hominems. You know, it don't have to be all of that. You can still be mad. You can still raise your voice a little bit. You can still put out 1,000-word salad. You know, and it doesn't have to be with disrespect, right? But when women are mad, bro, they evil. They evil, bro. They're gonna say whatever it is that comes to their mind, whatever it is they can to hurt you, because usually, right or wrong, they can't outwit you as a man. They can't out logic you, right? So that's why they get emotional. And that's why they go to the vitriol responses. And I mean, women are evil, bro. I could talk about it, but every time I say anything about myself, people, oh, podcast. Oh God, you're going through that? Really? She farted in her sleep? Oh, you shouldn't have to tolerate that podcast. Like, I really be wanting to talk about some of the stuff I've been through just to show you, like, so it don't sound like I'm saying women are evil to be facetious. I'm saying in general, they are. They just are, bro. And we've heard so many different stories and documents of women's behavior. We know that's what it is. That's something that they just have to get under control. And to be honest, all these dudes in this YouTube space and the passport bros and all that, and they trying to get these women 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, unless they was raised a certain way, that's going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. It's taming that evilness that comes out when women are upset about something. But you know, I think they can be respectful. I mean, look, yeah, especially when they white. Forget it. I was gonna try to name somebody black, but I ain't gonna be able to do it. White women.
You might want to respond to this.
A shout out to the titty pinks, I guess.
Right.
I don't know, man. Look, you ought to be able to have a conversation with a woman who's supposed to be a grown woman. You ought to be able to have a conversation, and if you don't tolerate or accept disrespect, you ought to be able to have that conversation with her. Hey, look, she do it one time, don't do it again. Let that be the last time. That's not how we talk to each other. I respect you, you respect me. Let's keep it that way. I understand you upset, but let's try to keep it respectable. Now, there's gonna be some times we get out of hand. Okay, I understand. Don't make us no habit. But you got to let them know and set your boundaries on what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, or what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept. And I know you said you just got to say no, you don't you move on. I mean, if that's how she's going to act and you see it on a regular basis, you let her be. You better run from her like a track star and tell your boys, hey man, don't even deal with this heifer. She crazy as hell. And her friends, they all probably the same. So, but yeah, definitely have that conversation, man, and let it be known what you expect and what you don't expect, what you deal with, what you won't deal with. And I'm sure she's gonna have a conversation with you. I'm sure that because they love to talk. Just throw a few words out there. They're gonna tell you their whole life story. But as far as what this white woman was saying, yeah, she's right. Even when you're mad, you still got to have respect for your husband. That's just like even vice versa with me. I got to still have respect for my wife. I have to. Because if I disrespect her, then I'll let anybody disrespect her. And that ain't cool.
Anybody else want to comment on this?
Wait real quick. Look at this comment in the chat from End Times. It says, that's not true. Maybe the women he dealt with, but I'm not like that. Remember what I said earlier? It's all about ego, not listening to understand, right? listening to respond. So because you're not like that, that makes the statement not true, even though the evidence points to exactly what is being said.
Wait, so just want to
Women.
do you know end times?
I don't, but it's a person that took the time to name themselves End Times, which means they're on YouTube a lot, which means they've heard all of these conversations of men talking about what they've been through with women. And so for you to try to sit there and gaslight even for a second to say that something isn't true just because you're saying you're not like that, I'll even take it as fact that you're not like that. Cool, congratulations. What does that have to do with the other 22 to 25 million black women in America? Not nothing.
Well, so let me address this quick, and then everybody can get in as well. I no longer, so I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Like I do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You don't paint everybody with a broad stroke. You don't blanket statements. But here's what I've noticed. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I'm just going to be real with you. It ain't never nobody. When it comes to women, it ain't never none of them women.
It's never anybody on these panels.
Like I'm talking about in real life, I'm sitting up here like it's a room full of women, and every woman. Well, that ain't me. I don't know friends like that. I don't hang around women like that. And I'm sitting up there looking like, are y'all single? Yeah, I'm single because I'm waiting on the right one. Oh, okay, I see where this is going. I think it's important to say because a lot of women have no idea how they come up to the men that they're in relationships with. And because a lot of men don't often speak it because we don't want to hurt feelings, they blind. They don't know how they're coming off. Like they don't know, right? And so when I hear comments like this, that's not true. Maybe it's the women he's dealt with like that. I don't even like to argue. I cry. Crying don't mean you soft. You can be manipulative and cry. There's a lot of people who use their tears to get out of tough conversations, to pull the emotional strings to get out of accountability. So crying doesn't mean you're soft and that you're not combative. It could just be a different tool used to manipulate the very same way. So I just find it ironic. In every one of these conversations, it ain't never nobody. It's not you, it's not your friends, and every woman in your family is married. I'm just, it's curious. I just noticed it.
It's always like, well, my girlfriend circle don't none of us do that. You know what I'm saying? Not the girls I hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like I said, I come to YouTube because I've never, ever in my real life hung with such pristine, prestigious women of honor and valor. I just haven't seen it. Like, I haven't seen it until I got to YouTube. Huh?
Yeah.
Like so many beautiful, articulate, educated, employed gainfully single women in my goddamn life. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here, man. Y'all some liars, bro. I said it once and I'll say it again. Y'all liars. Y'all liars. If y'all was as great as y'all say think y'all are, y'all would have somebody. Y'all be coated up with y'all man watching YouTube, watching this stream right now, talking about, you hear what Sir Hale said? You hear, baby, that's something. What Ricky said, baby, you be saying the same thing. Ain't none of y'all doing nothing. None of y'all.
Well, listen, there was a comment earlier in the chat from Maria A that said all males do is talk, and women don't need to listen to any of that shit, right? That you males say. You males need to listen and understand. So again, ego. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Like I'm really about to go on like a 2-week rant on this on my channel. Ego is the problem. It really, really is. And I don't think that it's all like, because I hear a lot of guys say that it's because, you know, man, bro, because y'all be trying to sleep with them and this and that. It's like, okay, maybe there's something to that. But I don't think it's just because we try to sleep with them, bro. I think it's something ingrained, it's something programmed, maybe it's even innate. I mean, look, that is what Satan used to get to Eve. Ego. Oh no, he said you're gonna die. Girl, you ain't gonna die. You're gonna be just like them. You're gonna be a god too. She's like, I'm gonna be a god. Yeah, I'm gonna be a god. Give me that doggone apple. Adam, get over here and have some of this. Ego. Only your ego would make you say that. No, that's not true. Your experience doesn't matter. Only the woman you deal with. That one is the most hilarious version of gaslighting I've ever heard in my life. Only the woman you deal with. So I found a person who is one of 22 million. That is amazing. I'm a god out here in these streets. I found the one. Come on, ladies. You see us, man. We sit up here, especially me. I be trying to be honest about everything that go on in my life, all of my deficiencies, all of my struggles, so that you all don't think that we're trying to say we're perfect. But we are saying we're worth it, right? We're worth what we're asking from you, because you want something from us. And so that comes with something. It comes with a level of responsibility. And we're just saying, just acknowledge it. You can't fix something until you acknowledge it first.
All right. So one other final question. Then we're gonna go to the main question. So it's a common thing we love to say. Women go get therapy, right? Go get therapy, women. And women say men go get therapy. Like, so we believe in therapy, right? But while we're telling each other to go get therapy, do we contribute positively to each other's emotional health? So if you look back to what that lady said a minute ago, she alluded to the way a woman treats her man, even when she's upset, directly affects his mental health, his emotional health. So just honestly, not theoretically, not idealistically, do we really positively contribute to each other's positive emotional well-being in our relationships instead of just saying go to therapy? In practice, do we do it?
No. I gotta say no, right? Because if I could just make it plain and clear, I like cutting through the mustard, right? I'm a kind of black and white guy. Okay, so most men in most cases, a lot of they women because it protects their feelings, but I don't consider that protecting someone's emotional health, because the truth will allow them to correct if they want to, right? And become a better version of themselves. So that would be no. If you're lying to your woman, if you're pussyfooting, or if you have to, right, to keep her happy, to keep her sane, right? You're not contributing to her emotional health because you can't keep it 1,000 with her, right? And vice versa with women. A lot of times, with like little podcast said, I mean, not in my case anymore. You know, like I said, I've been through the rigmarole. I've been with my old lady 20. We've been married 23 years this April, right? We done been through the rigmarole. But I'm talking about in these newer situations where most girls, y'all rattlesnakes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all bite the hand that feeds you and then put venom in it, right? And then expect it to feed you the next day, right? Like I said, ask ladies the simple questions. When the last time you said, you know what, I really appreciate what you do for me? When the last time you told your man, I'm proud of you? When the last time you told your man that he was sexy? Better yet, what's the last time you actually initiated sex with your man? Right?
Oh,
so we both, I think, my bad, bro. So like I said, I think a lot of us are here because we've been through the steps and we had the pitfalls and missteps to try to hip y'all to what to look for and what not to look for, so you can get to this point where I'm at. It took me years to get here. You see what I'm saying? It was a lot of growing pains. And like I said, the difference between wisdom and smart is that wise people learn from the experiences of others. Right? So again, man, just be correct, and you ain't got to worry about a lot of this stuff. When you be correct, you always get your answers. That's all I got.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
I completely agree with Brother Ricky. I think that you nurture that seed, the light, the water, all of the necessary things for that photosynthesis to happen. I think that's on you as a person, and if you are astute and have the capacity, and I think that's the difference with the young people as well. They just don't have that capacity to be able to walk through that emotional minefield. It's a one-step kaboom type situation, and you have to have verbal communication. You have to have emotional intelligence. It's a lot of things that go into trying to add to someone's emotional health, and I don't think everybody has that capability. So that's why it looks the way it looks.
Excellent. Okay, y'all, let's jump to the final question. So who's at fault here, guys? And I really want to get into this. My goal is not to just Because every time we talk, right, I hate hearing these things like, this is the gender war. This ain't no gender war. This is we learning how to do things better. Because over these last 20 years, we don't know how to do it right anymore. So my question to you guys is, in this particular statement, women don't listen and men don't talk. Which one of these is true? And then where's the breakdown? Is it women aren't listening to men? Or men are not talking to women in a way that women can understand? Where's the breakdown? And why is there such great issues when it comes to relationships today?
Women don't listen, bro. Why we gotta lie about this? Ain't no need to pussyfoot with this. Women don't listen. Okay, so let's use the example. We on a podcast, a panel, right? In most cases, if there is a female up here, right, our points will be countered before we can even finish getting them out by some woman, right? So, and even though, right, when we do get on these panels and we at that point, we want to be non-inclusive and let different ladies of different affluence up, right? They don't just listen to understand per usual. They don't even listen. Like podcast said, they look and listen so they can go ahead and point the finger on how it's the man's fault that a man feels this way, or it's a man's fault that this thing in particular happened to him, or it's a man's fault because he should be the leader from the get-go, right? It's never about say, hey, let me listen so I can look at me and see what I can improve. These women are rare in this space, right? So we got to be honest with how many people that's on YouTube. If we use this as a measure stick and a litmus, right, as a consensus, put that out in the real world and think that how many women actually live their life doing that when they don't even prepare themselves to come up on a panel to rebut points.
Well, that's a fact. Look, before you keep on cooking, I got a 100. Listen, last week I was called. They said either because I wear these frames that don't have lenses because I got contact lenses in. And I think it's stupid when I'm talking. I got to wipe these lenses. I hate it. So take the lenses out, just like the frames. And this woman said to me on one of my clips. I mean, it was a good clip. I think it's got over 100,000 views now. So she said, with them fake lenses, she said he either got to be bitter or gay. I'm like, what does this have to do? How does this have to do with anything? You just reach right down there. And I just noticed when you bring up a truth, they're not responding to what you're saying. They're responding to what you think what they think you mean by what you're saying. And you said earlier, I forgot who said it. I have never, and I mean this. This is not just me saying this. I have never heard a woman in a conversation and a man points out an issue, her ask, is this true? I have never seen it.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when you bring up something, they will reach down. I mean, they will go to something that's completely irrelevant to get you to respond to that, to give you off the point that you're making, instead of just addressing the truth and then hearing that truth that I'm telling you the truth because I actually care about you. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Rick, I'm sorry. I got PTSD from that statement.
It's all right, man. It's all right, man.
What you think about that?
But this what I'm talking about. Like I'm gonna keep telling y'all, my stuff is circular because it's true, right? This takes it back to why are we speaking? Men don't talk. Why are we gonna talk when y'all don't even really be listening for real? Y'all ain't trying to understand. Y'all not. That's what I keep saying. If you got a woman that listen, you better scoop her up, dog. You better grab her up, bro. Even though she not got every box checked, you know what I'm saying? She might not look the way you want her to look, right? But if you got a woman that's willing to listen and mold herself and grow with you, bro, you better grab her up and hunker down, dog. Right? This what I'm saying. Like, if she meant for you, she meant for you. I am. What a teach like it remind me of, right? Imagine how efficient schools would be if the teachers could just kick the students out of class that don't want to listen. The students that was in the class are the ones who actually want to be there, get up there, perfect attendance, do all their assignments, right? Pen and paper, forget an iPad. You feel me? They actually there want to learn, and they can tell, hey, JoJo, you don't want to be here, get out. Lil Ralph, get on out of here. But what we do is we think we got to speak and save and have every single one of them understand when they don't even want to learn. But then what they going to say to us, right? What they going to say to us? Y'all supposed to be the leaders.
Did you hear what I said?
Y'all supposed to be the leaders. It rise and fall on y'all, right? Liars. Y'all liars.
I don't know. Hey, I don't know whose fault this is, but for a very, very long time, nobody was holding black women accountable. And I'm saying black specifically because forget the other races, except for Puerto Rican women. But
it was good having podcasts tonight. It was really
don't
good.
Even bring them back, man. Don't even bring them back.
No, but for real though, there was no accountability, bro. Like, I know everybody on this panel seen Boys in the Hood. Okay, we talked about everything in that movie except for how Doughboy Mama and them acted. I heard thousands and thousands of conversations about black men being, shooting, gang banging, drinking 40 ounces, perpetuating the stereotypes, this and that. But it was everything except for how Doughboy and them mama acted. That woman was indicative, right, of what you could see. Not I wouldn't even say the majority, but I would say a good 40% of what you saw in the black communities, the urban areas, the real urban areas of Chicago. I can't speak for everywhere else, but in Chicago, yeah, man, people's mamas was just like that, bro. And so they have went so long without anybody holding them accountable, especially in public media formats and spaces, that when you make a video saying something, holding them accountable, it's immediately. I got it all on Facebook, so don't feel bad, sir. Bro, you gay, your mama black, you bitter, small D energy, all of them. Right? Soon as you start saying anything that says that black women ain't perfect, right? So don't take it, don't let the PTSD get to you, right? It ain't just you, it's all of us, bro. They come at all of us the same way. I mean, unless you light skinned with green eyes and bad hair, then they tend to get away with it, right? Because they want them. But in general, that is their response. They're not used to it, right? Now you starting to see more women, like even if you watch Kevin Samuels, right? Towards the end of his career, the last 4 months, when he would do smoke shows, he would spend 80% of the show just trying to get somebody to come up and disagree with him, because so many women were coming up saying, I understand, I understand, I understand. Whether it was for clout or whatever, but they were saying, I get it, I understand, I see, you're right, things like that. So I think the work is having an effect, right? It's having an effect. It's not as great as we want it to be, but just as sure as there's a woman in your comment section that's saying you must be bitter or gay, it's another woman that's not responding, but you tapping in on something with her. She's getting it. And then she's seeing all these other content creators. And so the messages is starting to like connect the dots for a lot of women out here, man. And that I really do appreciate the movement for that matter alone.
See, but this where I want to put the caveat in, right? I think where we as men have it confused, it's always been like this. It's always been like this. Always. I keep trying to tell y'all the game don't change, baby. Only the players. The problem is that us as men, and a lot of our young men never had anyone to pull a coat. They never had no one hip them to the game. It's always going to be these other types of women out there. They're going to exist throughout time. It's about men learning to choose and not making the mistakes of dealing with the wrong one. And when they see a wrong one, you minimize those mistakes and get out of Dodge. Right? It's good. It's always gonna be good women, just like it's always gonna be good men. But again, y'all, nothing in this world that is good is plentiful. God damn it. If that was the case, this would be Shangri-La. This would be the heaven on earth that the Most High supposedly created. But we know God has no works in the affairs of men. It's work for you to find a good woman because she's good. The same way it shouldn't be easy for any woman to have access to you if you're a good man, just like, oh, I'm here for everybody. I'm not here for everybody.
I got pushback for
You're not
that.
here. Of course you do.
I got pushback for that. No, the reason why is because
give me the pushback.
Yeah, the reason why is because, right, and I'm a numbers guy, so you got to bear with me on this. If I look at a time when 80% of Black people get married, right, I can accept the fact that no, there's never been a time where women were perfect, right? But I'll argue that there was a time when there was a majority of the crop were better. A majority of the crop were marriage worthy, wife material, right? That's the problem nowadays, right? That the majority of the crop isn't wife material, isn't marriageable, right? A majority of the crop is coming along with another man's kids, all these other different things that we talk about on a daily basis in these spaces. But what's not going to change is men's need to, I'm going to just say cohabitate. I'm going to say to partner up, to have somebody in their life. It's like we're choosing cars from the car lot where everybody be scared to go get a car because they know after about 2 or 3 weeks the muffler gonna fall off. You know what I'm saying? The transmission gonna start knocking. Something gonna go wrong every time you go get a car off this lot. But this is the lot that's in my vicinity. This is the lot that I am accessible to. This is the lot that have the prices that I can afford. And so that's why people continue to go there. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing in the community.
Hold up. Hey, what you just say? Rewind what you just said. These are the cars you can afford.
Yeah.
You hear what I said?
You get what you can afford. You get what you can afford. So let me break it down real to you. A lot of you niggas is just like these women out here. Y'all want what y'all wasn't supposed to have.
Wait.
If you really want to talk about it.
Voila.
If you really want to talk about it, 80% back then, who was getting married? Everybody. Oh, but the chick that ain't a adjustable 7, she not good enough for you no more, nigga, even though you know you making just $40K a year and you stay with your mom.
High value, man. High value.
Right? Let's keep it a bean. The same way these women out here want something that they can't have is the same thing. A bunch of these men complaining about something y'all never get. You're socially awkward. You're ugly. You're fat. You don't work out. You don't present nothing to a woman. So what you talking about? Get in your lane. But everybody think they lane better than everybody think they're supposed to be in a better lane. You drive a Corolla, but you think you should be in a Lexus. No, my guy, you in a Corolla. It's cool. Go get the around the way girl that got a little weight on her, but she a good woman, and y'all work it out together. Oh, but that'll be too much for you, right? Because you a man, and she should just give it up to you just because you. Who you talking to, man? Y'all not real out in these streets, bruh.
But this is the thing. They doing that. Right? That's exactly what they doing. And they making babies with them. And they ending up in child support court. And it's all of the cycle that you see continue. And they running away from the women because the women have so many red flags. And you know, it's like, I'm a good person, but I ain't got the bag, or I'm overweight, or whatever's going on. Right? But I'm saying they doing that. But that's my point. Is that
those dudes are dudes, though, man.
I'm sorry.
No, them dudes are losers, man. And so if they move like that, look, I don't give a damn about the women. I don't give a damn about you. Well, I'm gonna let you know right now. My focus is on the men and trying to make men better. And as long as you men better, these women got to adjust if they want to be able to adapt with me or with any man that I'm gonna try to help and train and educate. That's my job. You old heads, y'all don't listen. I'm talking about you old head dudes. Y'all already set in your ways. Cool. I'm gonna let you die off and do your thing. I'm talking to your sons. I'm talking to your nephews, your cousins, maybe your younger brother. And I'm hoping I can reach him and teach him and educate him the game because guess Pops didn't do it because he wasn't around. So I'm gonna try to do what I can to educate him and how to move and how to deal with certain situations and things you don't have to accept or tolerate. We don't have to do this. Again, guys, stand upright, man. Please stand upright. Don't accept this bullshit that these women are giving off. Talk about we don't talk. Yeah, we talk, but you got to be willing on listening, ladies. And so when you're not listening, guess what's going to end up happening? There's going to be another woman that will. Y'all keep searching. It's 1 to 10 out here. For every one man, there's 10 chicks. And if that means you got go get you a pearly white woman, so be it. I mean, I look here. I was pro-black, but when I'm seeing what's going on out here, I told my son, find a woman who wants you and loves you and needs you and appreciates you. I don't care what color it is, as long as it's a woman. So that's where I'm at now. Because I want my son to be in a good place where he's gonna find a good woman, marry her, and bring me some more grandbabies. And I'm gonna lead by example because he knows his daddy don't tolerate no bullshit. So again, talk to your sons, talk to your nephews, your family, educate them, let them know what it is, man. Let them know what it is. Tell them don't worry about the women. The women gonna come. They're gonna be there. I promise you they are. It's getting cold outside. It's cold on the outside looking in. And they don't want to keep on being on the outside. You don't act right. You keep on going over. Get your passport. I wasn't down with that either. Screw it. I'm open to it now. If that's where you need to go international, get you some love. Whatever it takes.
All right now. All right. So I'll say this. Women don't listen, men don't talk. You're right. That is a problem. Right? That's a problem. Why? Because they still want each other. Lil Parkers just said it. They are doing the do's. They're getting pregnant. They're ending up in that same court that they're trying to run away from, right? Because we're humans, we're social beings, right? I was gonna push back at Mr. Rick a little bit until he said social awkward. I was like, that's my guy. Listen, if you take any talking point away from here today and you think you're gonna get away with social awkwardness or lack of social skills, you're deceiving yourself. We're human beings. We're human beings. If you show up a certain way, I think we said that earlier in the beginning too. I think he said it. Like there's a certain vision you need to present. There's presentation. In Nigeria, we call it packaging, right? You can see that across the board here, right? But the real issue that I'm seeing when you say the real problem is like communication. Obviously, if we're not talking, right? So I think we're talking. I think we're not paying attention to our communication skills across the board, right? I think women can't afford to keep doing this. I'm a woman. You're supposed to move a certain way. If you show up a certain way, then I show up. Listen, you can't. It's 2023. You can't afford to keep doing that because that's not working, right? You can't keep doing that. Men not talking. Well, I think men are talking and they're talking way too much. They're talking more than they're acting. My personal opinion. I think a lot of men are talking what they can't walk. A lot of men are just, there's a post I posted earlier today on my community page that says, you want to start a podcast? No, start therapy. A lot of people don't need to be starting podcasts. It's showing up in how they talk. It is. People can read it. Gentlemen, we can hear it when a person don't need to be talking so much, right? So I'm glad that we got to that point in this conversation. And one thing that Sir Hill's platform really teaches me is patience, because sometimes I want to get out at the beginning, like, no, social skills, no, right? But I'm like, but I'm glad we got to that point in the conversation. It's true, women don't listen. Is traditionally we kind of take responsibility for the course, the order of things and stuff like that. But listen, this breeds of men out here these days, they're talking much more than women. So something is changing. You're gonna have to learn how to listen, ladies. Because you're not gonna get away with not being able to listen. Actively listen. Learn how to seduce a man. That means value. That doesn't mean you're manipulating anybody. That means you learn how to bring some value to the table in order in order to generate the result you're looking for, which is to get someone to love you, which is in order to, like the young lady that's talked earlier, right? It's true. If you don't understand that respect is like food for men, you really shouldn't be coming into the game. If you're still thinking, oh no, but women too like respect, son. See, I just called you bro. See, you just brought the feminine out of me. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You need to learn that you have power. You need to engage your power, ladies. You have the power to bring value. Right? Why? Why? Because you're looking to generate results too, right? So we could go back and forth with this. There's definitely some kind of issues in the air in the dating scene right now. People need to adjust. Hey, you don't have to adjust. There's casualty in every war. If you want to call it a war, call it war. It is what it is. This world will reset itself anyway. So, but if you want a piece of this, you want to enjoy life, you want to enjoy love, right? You need to understand that you need to be a little bit more intentional with your emotional intelligence and your social skills, both men and women. I yield.
Respect.
Indeed. Shout out to all the fellas on the panel. To answer the question, man, do women listen and men don't talk? I would say women don't listen, and they don't listen to particular things. That would be men and things they don't like. Those are the things they don't listen to, because they absolutely listen to their boss. They listen to their friends. They listen to Beyonce. They listen to compliments. They listen to Kendra G, but they don't listen to Cam Newton, TD Jakes, KS, Sir Hale, Mrs. She Said, so on and so forth. So it seems, very coincidental that some things they do listen to. They listen to going on the trips and come on, girl, what happens in Cabo stays in Cabo. They hear all of those things. But again, when it's certain instruction, when it's constructive criticism, that's what they don't hear. When it's compliments and praise, they do hear that. So I think it's selective hearing personally. And, that's what they need to work on, that some messages, you don't need to shoot the messenger. You don't need to look for reasons to disqualify. And you need to just take the message like everybody else does. And when you don't, you start to appear to be superior, because little kids have to take instruction, men have to take instruction, workers have to take instruction. Everyone takes a certain level of instruction. But when it comes to women, and Black women particular, in my opinion, there's no one who can tell them anything. When I first entered this space, I tried to ask the question very politically correct. Who, besides another sister, can tell another sister anything? And I never got an answer, because there is no answer. And it's not even another sister. It's nobody can tell a sister anything. And again, you got so many sisters that say they so Christ-like, they so love God, but yet they're in line with Beyonce and everything she does in her idolatry. They don't listen to TD Jakes, who is a man of God. And again, just looking for reasons to disqualify and, jump on the couch on Saturday night, shaking your butt and then asking forgiveness Sunday morning. It's just, for me, it's completely preposterous. It's incongruent. It's disrespectful. But again, no one can point that out because they're above reproach. They're above criticism. But, I think that's where we draw the line, again, as the type of men that we are. We don't mind standing on the island. We don't mind being the inspiration for people to tell it like it is. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to be very unapologetic about my stance, about my vocabulary. And, we go from there. And if anyone, has any instructions of suggestions on how we as men can put it in a way that the women would be willing to receive it, we are open for any suggestions. And, thank you for having me, man, fellas. Always a pleasure. I admire each and every last one of y'all for what y'all do, man. And y'all keep up the good fight, man.
Hey, that was I respect that. That's what we are looking for. That. I respect it. Let me give everybody final thoughts to call out your platforms and what you do as well. But y'all, this has been a dope show. I want to give my applause, but my soundboard ain't working. So hand clap for everybody. Yeah, somebody hook me up. Somebody come through for me. Appreciate you. So let's go with final thoughts from podcast. I've got my finger on the remove from stream button. But we're gonna start with final thoughts from podcast. What you got for us, man? Final thoughts for tonight, and then what can you share with the people, man? Like, we talked a lot, and I want to leave something with people, on how to improve relationships, improve communication. What do you want to encourage people, and then call it your platform as well?
There's really only one key to having a long, fulfilling relationship. The people back in the day, they understood this, they knew it. It's the very thing that people always say the women practiced back in the day. And ironically, it's the thing that we're telling men not to practice somehow, some way. But it's only one key. Don't leave. It's that simple. Don't leave. Your stuff stank too. You ain't perfect, right? Figure it out. Especially after you've already started the relationship. Y'all been together for all these years. Y'all got some kids and all that. I mean, you have a responsibility to kind of see that thing through. Now, we know it's severe cases of abuse and people going to jail and all this type of stuff, and crazy folk. That's different. But that's not what we're talking about. It's okay to acknowledge that there's a such thing as red flags, but it's getting out of control now. Don't listen to these dudes who sit online and make it seem like they woman never give them any kind of pushback, any kind of headache. And even if it's true, it's because they're paying her not to, right? Same thing the white man does at her job. So kudos for you to have the bread to buy her civility. I won't do it. I'm straight with that. I prefer real. It's okay. It's all in the way that you react to it. I do want to say this, though. I'm kind of tired of this narrative that's going around and make it seem like black man ain't this and black man ain't that. I don't care about y'all feelings. I know Sarah Hale don't like cussing, so I'm not going to cuss, but I'm going to say F all y'all that want to keep running around on YouTube trying to make it seem like black man ain't nothing. I am a black man who has a Section 8 apartment, who has one stream of income, which is my podcast on YouTube. I get food stamps and I got a government phone, even though I got a Boost mobile phone that I pay for too, right? When I look around, I'm the only nigga I know like that. No other man I know is in that situation. All of them work. Every last one of them. All of them. And the ones that don't work sell drugs. So they got some money. They not broke. That's the whole point. So this narrative that we putting out, I did a little research. The average black male in America is 33 years old. The average black male in America makes $951 a week. If you multiply that by 52, you know what you get? $49,452. That's almost $50K a year. So, here's another thing. The average black man, single and childless. Yeah, didn't think that, did you? 50% or 51%, depending on who you believe, that's the majority. 51% is a majority, right? So the majority of black men are 33, making $50K a year and don't have kids. They ain't bums. They doing all right, right? So you can get past that narrative. Y'all can take that narrative and shove it up your toots. Real talk. So what other reason are you not committing to these men? What other reason will you not submit to these men? What other reason will you not capitulate to these men? Cooperate with these men, love these men, cherish these men, value these men. Now, I will acknowledge that these men probably still will come with some personality defects and trauma and stuff that they went from growing up. I'm not trying to say that they're perfect, right? But none of us are. That's the whole point, period. None of us are, right? So it's not going to take one. It's going to take two. It's going to take three. It's going to take four. It's going to take 45 million black people in America, right, to get this thing together. I know I shouldn't say all, because it's not really going to take all, but I'm exaggerating for just to get the point across. That we have to start valuing each other beyond certain things like looks and money. Okay? I don't got no money. Don't call me for no money. But if you need some advice, you know somebody that's stressed out, dealing with something for real, anxiety, depression, PTSD, holla at your boy. I've gotten people through things. My resume is solidified. It's in my videos. People have commented in my chats and on my panels about how I've helped them. Shout out to my man Freezy. So, I know I'm valuable. My kids love me. My son, when I was 17, I was jail, homeless, all kind of stuff. My son go to work, go to school, got a girlfriend at 17. He don't know what crime look like. So my daughter ain't on the pole. I think I did a good job. I think my value is solidified beyond how much money I have in my pocket. Plus, I got like 32 bucks. I can go get some Chinese food right now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, my name is Beans, aka Lil Podcast. My new channel, Lil Podcast, produced it. It's growing. We're doing big things over there. I still got the old channel, I Seen Your Lil Podcast, cracking with multiple shows hosted by other guests. And I got something new in the works coming up. I might be getting ready to host a show on another major, bigger channel right now. So keep your fingers crossed for that. And, other than that, the Black woman is God.
I just want to say, the conversation is intellectual when somebody say toots.
Look, that's good practice because you know what I'm saying? You forcing us not to swear, so it's good practice, man.
He said toots. Look, Mr. He said, what's your final thoughts on tonight's topic, and what do you want to leave for the people? I'll be back, y'all.
I don't know if I could follow that, man, but y'all know me, man. I'm one half of He Said, She Said, Love and Abundance. We out here, man, every Thursday on these streets. I appreciate Sir Hale and all these brothers on the panel. I'm about knowledge, that's smarts, wisdom, and that's holding on to the smarts for a long period of time and understanding, putting forth work to show that you've retained that knowledge and you show and prove that you understand what you learn. And either you building or you destroying, man. So which one are you doing? So shout out to everybody, man. Peace and love. And, if you want to be married, do the work, yo. If you don't, like my brother Ricky said, please excuse yourself because we doing real work over here.
Mr. He said, appreciate you, man. Hank, man, appreciate you being on the show. What's your final thoughts, and what do you want to leave with the people as well?
Shit. Man, my final thoughts, man, it was a great show, man, to have these men up here to able to talk freely and have good conversation. And hopefully some of these young cats are able to benefit the knowledge that was shared up here, and maybe a crumb or two will fall off the floor and let the ladies hustle it. So that's definitely the main thing, man. We gotta make sure these men are on straight and upright. As long as they do what they need to do, we got a chance. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can also find me on in the basement with Hank, man. Just check me out on my YouTube channel. I go on Mondays when we talk about sports, but then on Wednesday we talk about man talk and just good conversation on there. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and to my people out West Coast, it's 4 p.m. Pacific. But you can also find me on IG at Hink75. So just come check me out, tap in, break bread with me, come hang out in the basement a little bit, man. Come get some of this knowledge. Have a good time while we're doing it. Black man, please, black man, protect yourself at all times. Do what you got to do. What it means, you got to get on somebody's couch and somebody's Zoom and get your mind right. Make sure your A1C's in order, your blood works right. You know what I'm saying? Diabetes and heart disease is the biggest killer amongst black men. So make sure you're doing what you got to do. Make sure you making your doctor just go and see the doctor. Again, get that blood work done. I also need you guys to go get your colonoscopies if you're a man of more mature age like myself, and your prostate checks. Man, there's nothing make you less a man dealing with. Because let me tell you, colon cancer is not no joke. I've seen it happen with my grandfather, and it's not no joke. So definitely take care of yourself, man, so the black man can continue to rule the world one day, because we're going to be back, baby. I promise you we are. But I need for you guys healthy and upright to do it.
That's what's up. Brother Ricky, man, is this your first Super Sunday been on here? I know you've joined in the past, but is this the first one?
Yeah, it's the first Super Sunday. I've been on one of your other shows before, though.
Yeah, man, really glad you came up here, man. It's really dope working with some strong brothers, man. You're known in these streets, so man, I really appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, I'm known in these streets, but ain't a lot of y'all subscribe to your boy, so subscribe to my channel, Ricky Williams, # TWT. We got a bunch of I got a couple of different shows going over there. Every day I got, I should say most days, I got Truck Chronicles where we just driving around. I'm a regular man like most people. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving around, getting work done, and we talking about the stuff that we see out in these streets. Every Friday night I got a new show. It's called Album Ratings, where we take it back for us OGs, because we the OGs now. You know what I'm saying? 50 years old this year. We the OGs, where we go back and we choose from any number of albums and we review them. We go over and we reminisce. We go back. We take the time machine back on some music. Got some other stuff in the work that's coming. When it get here, I hope y'all enjoy it. But the biggest thing, my message is black men, just be correct. Be 100% in the things you do. When you're 100%, you stand 10 toes down, you always get the answers you need to get. Ladies, be a lady at all times. Be a woman of respect, right? Be a woman of virtue. And then, like I said, if you do that, you'll get all the answers you need, because you'll get all the answers you need. If you got questions about that, come over to my channel. We can talk about it. We can chop it up. You can also hit me up over there at Instagram at rdubs. That's ARE_DUBBZ. Again, that's ARE_DUBBZ. And I'm also starting to do reactions. So if we see something big on YouTube that goes off usually on one of the major panels, Anton Daniels, Lapeeb, Sir Hale, I do reactions and break down what really ain't being said on that too, so you can peep that game. So, hey, follow me, and if you like it, great. If not, that's cool too. I appreciate the spot, Mr. Sir Hale. I appreciate my brothers. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
Y'all have a great night. Be safe. Take care of yourself and your family. Everything else, take care of yourself.
Immediately following the stream, I'm getting a new sound effect. Ricky, that was dope. Man of Prestige, man. What's your final thought on tonight's topic? And what do you want to leave with the people, man?
Well, shout out to all the brothers again on the panel. Thank you so much for having me, as always. Sahil, you're my brother. The last word I really want to leave here about options. You do have options. Okay, as long as you're not talking about just women, you do have options. Okay, and if you don't feel that way, it's like it's little to no wonder, right? Confidence is sexy. If you feel like you don't have options, if you feel like, oh, my looks a certain way and all this kind of stuff, if that's your talking point, it's no wonder, but you do have options. You might just want to engage some of these OGs to help you identify what they are. But yes, my name is Ola. I am the creator of Man of Prestige, convener of the Prestige family on YouTube right here. We basically talk about relationships. We talk about power. We talk about seduction. We talk about attraction. We talk about emotional intelligence. We talk about patience and love. If we have some time, we do talk about marriage. I don't think it's necessary to talk about marriage if you don't understand those things. But that's all I got, man. So Hale, thank you as always, and respect to all the brothers.
I appreciate you guys. So listen, my goal is to really help relationships. And I know people love to say we just on YouTube, not we, but like we're just on YouTube just saying stuff. Now people out here trying to make a difference. We could be doing much better stuff with our time. But I think that there's a heartfelt thing that we know our community is at risk. And we're having conversations to help change some things. So women who are listening to this, my goal was for you to hear this conversation. It wasn't just to listen, but to take some things away. You have a lot of great men who want to be with women, but your mouthpiece can be the thing that makes a man get on bended knee and ask you to marry him, or it can make a man get up off that knee, brush it off, and walk away from you because of your inability to listen. So we all got work to do, but we're going to have to stop spreading the issue and owning the issue so we can actually start making some change. I hope tonight's conversation helped us to do that tonight. So we love everybody. A dope show. Shout out to everybody who's on here. Don't just listen to this stream. We're not tearing people down. We're not breaking people down. We're building people up. And if you don't want to do this, then just go ahead and walk away because we're trying to get this working over here. So, all right, y'all, we appreciate you. Until next time, until next Super Sunday, we're out of here. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.
May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.